to welcome you in tonight for your Alabama River pre-tournament meeting. This will serve as the official meeting for the Alabama River tournament. And just FYI, we will not have any more in-person meetings until the championship later on in October at Lake Jordan. So this will serve as the only meeting that you'll have for the Alabama River tournament. I do want to start by saying a huge thank you to Kelly Cook and to Russ Sanders, along with the entire city of Prattville, the mayor and the city council for being our host this week as we travel down to Prattville, Alabama to Cooters Pond. Kelly and Russ are extreme amount of help to us as we come down there. They organize getting the porta potties there, as well as getting our golf carts, our side-by-sides, all of the drivers and volunteers, as well as help us in the afternoon, helping you winch your boats up and all of that. So I want to say a huge thank you to them. They've been a lot of help as we have worked to navigate this tournament, and looking forward to getting back down to Prattville this weekend. This is your third stop of the Alabama Bass Trail South Division. Points are real tight right now, and we do expect to see that we'll have a big change in points after this event. First, I also like to congratulate Mike McCullers and Slade McCullers for their win at Lake Martin back in March. They had a phenomenal win there. Also, they took home the $500 Garmin bonus money. So congratulations to them. They punched their ticket to the championship at Lake Jordan, and lucky for you guys, we may get to bump down another notch and add someone back to the championship because of their win. Also, I'd like to send out a congratulations to Paul Davis and Josh Chappell. They won the Wadowee Marine $1,000 bonus at Lake Martin for their second place finish there. Also, Marty Giddens for winning the AmFirst $1,000 bonus. I think he had a fourth place finish and took home $1,000 from AmFirst. A couple things before we get started with tonight's logistics. Scott is in the background. He will be front and center as soon as we start going through the logistics, but there are a few things I would like to remind you of prior to us starting that. First of all, please, 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 if you are not receiving emails from us, please make sure that I know that so that we can get that changed in the system as we start adding to the championship and contacting you via the championship. We will need good contact information. Also, in the event of any inclement weather, we do send out emails and text messages about that. So we do try to have all of your correct email address and all of your correct information. Also, any address changes that you may have had since August, please make sure that we have those. We had a number of tax documents returned to us this year because people failed to change their address with us. So please make sure that we have all of those changes in hand. I do want to let you know that the 2023 Alabama Bass Trail schedule announcement is scheduled for May the 6th. It is a Friday, Friday, May 6th, around 10 a.m. That schedule will go live on our website as well as on our social media pages. That will be the announcement of the 2023 schedule. Registration will open for current teams, teams that are fishing in the 2022 season. They will open up August 1st at 6 a.m. and you will have until August the 15th at midnight in order to get your priority registration in. All new teams can register for the 2023 season beginning August the 15th at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. All of the times that we discuss here on the Alabama Bass Trail are based on Alabama time or Central Standard Time. So again, the schedule will be released on Friday, May 6th around 10 a.m. It will be posted to our social media channels as well as our website. All regular teams or current teams can register August 1st through the 14th, and then all new teams can register August the 15th. We are having a tremendous amount of phone calls, text messages, and emails regarding the 2023 schedule and when registration opens. So please start considering whether or not you'll be fishing with the same partner for 2023. Moving on to Cooters Pond. This is the 6th year, I guess, that we have been to Cooters Pond, and we've experienced all kinds of weather, from extreme drought to heavy rain to rains leading up to the event. We are aware that there is rain in the forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday. We are checking the app. Everything does look like we will be fine to go forward with Saturday. I want to remind you guys that have already called and texted me, the lake was at 35 feet last year, which is quite a bit, maybe 12 to 14 feet above floodplain last year. Right now, it is scheduled to be at 28 feet with a steady fall after Saturday. So we are anticipating no interruptions in the tournament. So I just want to remind you of that. Also, please refrain from texting and calling and asking about that. We will contact you as soon as we have a decision if it is different from what we're saying tonight. We are scheduled to have a tournament Saturday, April 9th. That is the plan. That is what Scott and I are planning on. And if we decide to change that, we will let you know. But we do not have time to answer 450 text calls, emails, Facebook messages about it. I promise you, if anything changes, we will be in touch with you no later than Wednesday prior to the tournament. But right now, we don't see any reason why we cannot move forward with this event. Cooters Pond, if you have not been there before, I will explain to you that parking is a premium there at Cooters Pond. There are very few parking spots that are on concrete. Everything else is in the grass or on land. So you will want to get there early if you would like to get a close parking spot. It is a very large area. We will have golf carts and volunteers running people back and forth from the boat ramp to their trucks. But I will let you know it is a premium. So please do not everyone file in there at 5:30 and expect to be in the water and ready to blast off by 6:15 or 6:30. It just will not happen. The boat ramp is very steep. It is a long boat ramp and it is very steep. So if you are not familiar with it, I encourage you to at least go by there, check it out before Saturday morning. We will have a light tower there to help you down the ramp. Scott will go over the logistics on how we use this ramp. It is a 3-lane boat ramp, but how the Alabama Bass Pro uses it in order to get you in and out of the water in a quick manner. He will go over that. I do want to remind you that 225 boats, if it takes 1 minute to get you in the water, that's 3 hours and 45 minutes. So just be reminded of that as you are getting up that morning and getting ready to go to the boat ramp. You will need to be there a few minutes earlier than normal because it will take us a minute to get you in the water. Also, y'all did a really good job at Lake Martin. I know Scott's going to talk about that in just a little bit. But I want you to consider a few things as you're coming through the line. Mainly have your boat number ready for the guys to check at boat check. If you can have your live wells open, please do that. It just cuts down on time for us. And also something that's as simple as just letting off your brake and coasting. May not seem like a long time, but if all 225 of you do that, which we will have, most of the 225 will be at Cooters Pond, it does take up a considerable amount of time. So I'm letting you know that these are things that we see year in, year out that cause us to push trucks and boats back out on the main highway. Also, if you are going to pull over to rig your boat, make sure you are off of the road. Please do not cluster the road up because you're trying to rig your boat. Get off the road safely and rig your boat. Please do not stop the line so that you can rig your boat. We will be there ready. Scott has the time frame on his slides that he'll go through, but I want to make sure that you know that if you call me and you're on 431 and you can't get turned in, I'm going to have absolutely no way of knowing what's going on because we're at boat check and there's a half a mile between me and where you are. So please make sure that you get there in time. Make sure that if you can have your live wells open, that they are. Make sure that you have your text message ready and out for our guys to see them. We'll get you processing through the line. Also, once you have put your boat in the water and your partner goes to park your truck, move away from the boat ramp. Do not go 10 feet and wait on him. Go down to the docks, get out of the way so that other boats can get in the water. We have this year in and year out. Please move away from the boat ramp so we can continue to get boats in the water. Our guys will likely not holler, but yes, probably holler at you and ask you to move away just because we have 225 teams to get in the water. And if you're sitting there waiting on your partner who's parking 150 yards away, it's going to back things up. So please, once you put your boat in the water, move away from the dock, call your partner, tell him where you'll pick him up, but please move away from the boat ramp. All right. That is all I have for right now. I'm not going to recap you the top 9 teams currently. We will start that at the 4th stop. But we'll start talking about that. I do want to make clear that the top 75 teams at the end of the year do make it to the championship along with all 5 winners. as well as the top 15 in the student division, the top 5 in the couples division, and we only have one collegiate team this year. So we should have somewhere around 181 teams that make it to the championship this year. But we will start talking about that more and more as we get closer to the end of the season. Also, I will remind you that the top 9 teams do make it on to the Bassmaster Team Championship. That takes place in December. We will know more about that closer to the time. I don't think Bass has announced the location yet. However, we should know that really soon. So we do pay the $500 entry fee to that. So if you are inside the top 9 at the end of the season, you will be eligible to go to that. Those are things I have on my plate. Scott's going to come on here. He's going to go through the logistics with you. I will stay, my mic will stay turned on in case I need to chime in. But Scott, if you're ready, let's talk about the Alabama River.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Kay. Chris, if you're ready, we'll start the slide and we can progress forward. All right, guys, as always, a very important number that everyone needs to have in their phone. This is Chris. He's not only running our slideshow right now, but handles all of our TV and media. And you need this number in your phone if you want to request a camera, or it's just a good one to have. Whatever the case may be, it needs to be in there. Chris Brown from anglerschannel.com, 901-493-0437. Next slide. All right, Cooters Pond. Boat check will begin at 3:30 a.m. And Ms. Kay touched on this before. It is tight parking. It is a 2-lane ramp. It's actually a 3-lane ramp, but we use one of those for exits, and I'll talk about that when we get to that slide. So it'll be very difficult for you late arrivers, if there is a big number of you, which there normally are, for everybody to get in the water in a timely fashion. You're going to have to bump up your time frame a minimum of 30 minutes. If you normally like to get there at 5, I suggest you try to get there at 4:30. If you normally try to get there at 4:30, please try to get there at 4, because it's just a tough area to get everyone in the water and staged and ready to go at our blast off time. Check-in by water will be at the flashing lights on the dock. It's a small dock there. Won't have any trouble seeing it. Kevin's always there. I don't anticipate a ton of water check-ins, but we will have him there with those fobs on the dock. Find the red flashing triangle light. Safety first. Anytime your big motor is running and engaged, you must be wearing a Coast Guard rated PFD. The kill switch tethers must be attached. Please follow all posted water control signs and buoys. If you are ticketed, as always, in an ABT event, it does equal a disqualification. We will blast off at safe daylight. We have here approximately 6:30 a.m. Hopefully, this morning, again, I live up on Lake Gunnersville, and about 6:15, it was light enough to go. So if it's sunny and we have no issues with any weather, we anticipate maybe trying to get out a little sooner than 6:30 a.m. on Saturday. First flight is due in at 2:30. Obviously, if we go a little bit before 6:30, that gives you 8+ hours of fishing time. Next slide. When you arrive at boat check on Saturday morning, the team member in the vehicle's driver's seat needs to have the text message with their team's boat number open on their phone. This is the same procedure that we use every time. You guys did a great job. Our last South tournament at Lake Martin, we didn't really have a backup at boat check. We had a little bit of a backup, folks paying for the parking fees and that kind of stuff. Our guys at boat check seem to think things went fairly well. Parking is a little tight. Like we talked about, Ms. Kay told you that there's just not much paved parking. We'll be putting you in grassy areas. We'll be putting you on the sides of the road. So it is very important that you listen to our team members and go where they tell you to go. The vehicle's driver will be given a key fob at boat check. This key fob has the team's boat number. Do not lose your key fob. We talked about this last time as well. One tournament this year, somebody lost a fob and they are not allowed to weigh in. You must return the fob at weigh-in in order to weigh your team's fish. This is a trailered weigh-in, meaning you will put your boat on your trailer, pull back up into the parking lot, park, come get your bag, weigh your fish. And we'd like for you, once you've weighed your fish, to either move on out. If you want to head home, whatever you want to do. If you don't want to stick around for check or any of that kind of stuff, obviously we mail those to you as well. But the parking areas close to the ramp will be a premium. So if if you're not weighing in, move on out of the way. Or if you've weighed in and you don't have very much, you're not going to get a check, please, either move on and either head home, or you can move out a little bit further and give those folks who are going to be retrieving bags and trying to weigh their fish. We'd like for them to get priority parking close to the ramp so that they're not going to the upper parking lot back and forth trying to get fish back and forth. Even though we do have, we got some buggies there and some volunteers who'll be running folks back and forth. Let's try not to cluster the area around the ramp as it is a tight space. Next slide. We are 12-inch limit on largemouth and spotted bass, Alabama River at Cooters Pond. All right, logistics. Boat check. If you'll notice on the slide, it's pretty close to the ramp. So there is really no space once you come to boat check for you to rig your boat. Have all of your rigging done at this event prior to boat check. Let me say that again. Everyone needs to have 100% of their rigging done prior to boat check. Because once you roll through boat check, all you're doing is spinning around and backing down the ramp. You'll see here that you see where water check-in I was telling you about on the long dock there, flashing red light, and it will be in the canal right by the ramp. When you come back in the afternoon, you will need to enter for check-in at the same exit we blast off from. Do not enter on the north side of this slide up at the top. It's really shallow on that corner from what I understand, and we're just not going to use that. And those two lines you'll see on the next slide in a moment are also our off limits. So you make sure that when we blast off on the south end there, that you are entering back in for check-in on the same end. Towboat USA will be there for our blast off boat and also for check-in in the afternoon. The last two tournaments, our towboat got called out for emergency situation. You guys at Martin saw it when the game warden sunk his boat. He had to go work that. At Smith, our last north event, dock broke loose and was floating free in the middle of the river or in the middle of the lake, and our towboat had to go work on that. Anytime something like that happens and you pull up to check in and our boat is not sitting there, we've had an issue. The boat got called out. Always come to the dock. And you'll see Jacob or whoever is doing the check-in this time, he'll have his vest on and he'll be waving at you. And we haven't had an issue the last two emergency situations like that, but keep that in mind in the future. If we are using towboats, sometimes they get called out on emergency call and we have to do the best we can. So I appreciate your patience, and you guys did a great job. We haven't had an issue with that, and it just so happened it was an anomaly the last two tournaments that it worked out that way, and we appreciate your help on that. Next slide. Again, same slide as before, just also it's showing you the off limits that we talked about. Everything inside the canal point to point is off limits. So MSK touched on this as well. In the morning, once you're in the water, move away from the dock and please keep the center of the canal open. If your boat 225, there's no reason for you to be up near the front. Move over to the edge, let the guys in early flights idle through. Once they're cleared out, you're a high boat number, then you start making your way to the front of the canal. Please don't clog us up at the front. If there's no reason for boat 180 to be sitting up at the go line, at 6:30. Let the guys in the early flights work their way up. Keep the middle of the lane open so that folks can get out if they're late getting in the water. Okay, next slide. All right, as I mentioned before, you'll see that boat check is really close to the ramp. 100% of the rigging needs to be done prior to boat check. Once you're got your fob, you'll loop around. Frank will be there. He'll be telling you if you're in lane 1 or lane 2, and that's the inside and the outside lane. The middle lane stays freed up so that we have that's exit lane only. So you'll be alternating left and right, pulling out, pulling out, pulling out. That way we can expedite you. And to get 225 boats or 220 boats, depending on how many we have come water check in, whatever the case may be, it's tough in a 3-hour time period. So please listen to the instructions. We'll have a light tower there. Our guys will be having the flashlights and their vests on, telling you where to go and how to get there. And we do the best we can. Again, it's paramount that you guys show up a little earlier than you normally would or normally would want to. It will help everybody out, including yourself. Very little parking on the right there. We'll save the first 2 or 3 on each side for some handicap stuff there. And then we're going to be putting you in grassy areas and around the roads once this parking lot is full. If you are parking on the road, you will be instructed on which side of the road to park on. Make sure that you try and move over far enough that folks can still make the turns throughout the loop, in the middle of the day, or especially in the afternoon when they're looping around to pick their boats up. Again, Frank will be there telling you which lane. Middle lane stays open. It's exit lane only. And please turn off your headlights so that we're not blinding folks who are trying to back down. Next slide. Again, my phone number, 256-309-9852. I'm assuming everyone has that in their phone already. In an emergency situation, please call 911, and then only when safe to do so, that's when you either call myself or Kay. After weigh-in starts, obviously that phone call will need to be with Kay. I turn my phone off once I go on stage. First flight is due in at 2:30, so I will start weighing fish at 1:30. Next slide. All right, I'll brag on you guys just a little bit. I'm always tough on you, chewing on you a little bit about not doing a good job, texting me if you're coming by water or you're using an alternate. You guys did a great job at the Lake Martin tournament. Thank you for finally getting on board with what we're trying to do there. And again, I'm not going to bore you by going over the reasons we have to do it that way. But if you are coming by water or you are using an alternate, make sure you contact me via text at this number, 256-309-9852. Or an email by Friday at 5 p.m. Next slide. And an example text, obviously, boat 226, I'm using an alternate, Donaldson for Dobbins, or whatever the case may be. Or if you're coming by water, all I need is the boat number and saying that you're coming by water. Again, those are due to this number, 256-309-9852, by 5 p.m. on Friday. Just right quick, rules overview. As always, for an ABT event, I'm going to read our protest rule verbatim off of your rule sheet. Protest must be made in writing within 15 minutes of the official closing of scales at each tournament, and any written protest must be provided to the tournament director in writing within said time period. If a protest is not made in writing within the required 15-minute time period, the contestant waives his or her right to submit a written protest. And as always, protests are not secret. They are shared with the person who is doing the protest and the person who is being protested. If you have any other questions as far as rules that I did not cover in this presentation, obviously you can either text the number that we talked about before, 256-309-9852. You can also send me an email at scott@alabamabasstrail.org, and we'll get those two answers out to you as quickly as possible. You may also obviously ask questions on the Facebook page as well. Kay and I both monitor that, and we'll be glad to get back with you if you've got questions on that realm as well. Ms. Kay, if I didn't leave anything out, I think I'm done on my end.
Okay. All right, guys. Again, this is going to serve as your meeting for the Alabama Bass Trail South Division on the Alabama River, the Cooters Pond tournament. If you do have questions, Scott has told you how you can contact us. I do want to reiterate to you, we are monitoring the weather. We are monitoring the lake levels. We feel confident that we will not be postponing for Saturday. We have a good feeling that the water is going to be around 28 feet. Feel comfortable that we'll be able to get to the docks, be able to get you guys in and out of the water safely. So I'm asking that you please give us time to make those decisions. Right now, we are full on go for Saturday, and if anything changes, we will notify you. We just do not have the time or the ability to answer 450 phone calls and continue to do the job we need to do. So please give us time to make that phone call. Please do not call us at 5:30 on Wednesday morning when you get to the boat ramp and see some water coming up. We will be monitoring it very closely. You can check our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page and our website for any changes, but we will be emailing you, text messaging you if we see that there's a need for a change. So please understand that. I promise you we'll get you information as soon as possible. We will be on the ground on Friday morning around 10 o'clock as always. We will have the live trailer there. We will have our, Chris's live studio there. We will be notifying you Thursday or Friday if you have been voluntold for a camera or a tracking device for us to be able to produce our 4 hours of live coverage. So please be nice to our people when they go to put your cameras on the boat. This is just to engage our fans and give them opportunity to see how you caught them out on the Alabama River. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. If you have any questions, please post them here. We're happy to answer those, or we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Chris, thank you for your help. Scott, have a good evening with your family, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a blessed evening.